is a very unique thing, and it's very rewarding when you can make a difference, when you can hold somebody's hand when they're in their time of need, when you can give that comfort, when you can make a difference. It truly is the most rewarding career that I know of. Boulder City Fire Department utilizes reserve firefighters to supplement their staffing. Annually, we conduct a proficiency school, which is a process that we do to test our incoming cadets. Early on in the process, I try to take the time to come out during their training sessions and meet and let them get to know me as the fire chief. And during that process, I talk to them about what they're getting ready to enter. Even though it's a fairly short proficiency school, fire proficiency school that they go through, there is a lot to learn and a lot to do. And one of the biggest things that I talk to them early on in the process is another requirement is they have to pass the physical agility test, or the candidate physical agility test. It's called CPAT in the fire service. And basically this test has been developed which shows us that they have the physical ability to do the job. And it can be very demanding. And so early on in the process, I walk up and down the line and I tell them, if there's one thing you need to start working on right now is your ability to pass that test. Congratulations to all of you. It was a lot of hard work. I saw all of you working very hard. You participated in many things. Thank you for your support of the fire department, and thank you for your commitment to this program. It's another step in a journey that I hope will take you a long time in your fire service career. I've had a great time so far in mine, and I just want to say thank you for your commitment and congratulations.
The way the Civil War came to be, and some people do give me credit for starting it, but I turn around and give the kids credit, students credit, because actually it was in the late afternoon one day, and when things get just kind of a little boring, and we were studying the Revolutionary War, and the kid said, "Can we divide up and one be England and the other one the USA and America, and have a little war here in our room?" And I said, "Sure, sounds good to me." So we had to kind of get some to do the England part, but they all wanted to be the Americans, of course. Everybody wants to win. But anyway, so we divided up, and we got behind the desk and other things, and we had a little shoot off there by just making noises with our mouths and pointing and so forth, and that was fun. So then when we started studying the Civil War, they said, "Hey, can we do this again? But we want to throw water balloons at each other." And so I said, "Boy, that does sound fun." So we divided up in the South and the North, and that was quite easy, because you have a lot of people that have come from the South, and not near as many as from the North. But anyway, we divided that up, and we went out and practiced, set up a few signs, and just did a little bit. And the teacher that was teaching 5th grade at that time was Mrs. Bernald, and she said, would you mind if our class come out and watched like the Battle of Bull Run, or we would reenact the Battle of Bull Run, and we'll bring our kids and have a little on our parasols and put up and have a little picnic, just like they did at Washington D.C. during that first battle, or actually the second battle. But anyway, so they came out. So that was kind of the first battle.
I remember being excited. We had to do the water balloons. It was really fun.
Principal came to us and she said, "Every kid in the 5th grade wants to be in you two's class." She says, "You either got to let all the classes reenact it with us, or," she says, "you got to quit it." Well, we said, "Hey, we'll welcome that." So after that, we started the whole 5th grade became a whole 5th grade reenactment.
Well, my actual involvement started 26 years ago, and when I went to watch Mr. Tobler's class reenact, I believe they did Bull Run. the first year. It's grown and become such a beautiful thing. The uniforms are amazing now because as each group's gone through, they've left behind good uniforms. We have the horses, the flags, the parade, the music, everything that it's grown into now, and all of those things make a lasting impression.
For the last 6 years, I've been Confederate, and we do it every year. We get uniforms, they go marching, they learn how to drill and everything, and we practice for 3 days prior to the Civil War so that the kids really know their parts and know how to perform and put on a great show for the community.
Mr. Coe and Mr. Tobler made it a big deal for the kids, and they'd get their uniforms on and grow their beards, and it was really a team building experience. And they're both really great leaders.
It's not just a war game, it's a learning experience is what we try to do. And that's why we have the speeches on the different things of what went on during the Civil War. We have the nurses, the doctors. We have a couple of years we even had a couple of ladies dress up in the Southern Belle, which we thought was good.
I haven't experienced anything but complete support for the event since it very first started. And it's grown. We've had, the mayor generally come, city council members, we've had senators, assemblymen, because it is such a valuable thing. It's a part of U.S. history. It's one of the main parts of U.S. history, and it's something that should be valued and studied in our history, so something like that will never be repeated again. Some people learn by reading, some people learn by doing. They have to touch it, smell it, taste it. You can ask any student, who taught you your times tables? They'll have no idea. But if you ask them, name 3 things that you remember from 5th grade, they'll say every time they'll start with the Civil War.
They actually will remember the sadness of the Civil War, the heartache that they went through. Usually we talk to them about Anderson's prison, the things that went on in the prison. They learn about how many people were shot and the sanitation conditions weren't very good, and so many of them died of that. And what a terrible thing it was as brothers killing brothers and families killing families, and then the separation of families too, because one on one side and one on the other. So they kind of really learned the basic of American history. They actually reenact it, so they learn it instead of just reading a book and probably forget it.
Thank you, and now may we present the excitement, the bravery, the drama, the terror, and the grief of the worst war in U.S. history, the American Civil War.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to parade.
The real Civil War, sometimes at night, even though they knew they were going to be fighting and killing each other the next day, some of the guards or the sentries camped across the river from each other with meat in the middle of the river. In the south, they had tobacco, and in the north, they had coffee. So they would trade cigarettes and coffee in the street, and then the next morning, they'd get up and go shoot at each other. They sort of had a little cruise at night. Everybody got to rest.
Water conservation is a priority in southern Nevada. Reduce your water footprint in 3 simple steps. Spring forward with seasonal watering restrictions, but don't water more than you need to. And find and fix the most common household leaks to avoid water waste. See all the ways to save here on Waterways. Mandatory watering restrictions can help us all water wisely, avoid overwatering, and reduce water waste. In spring, you may be inclined to water more as the temperatures warm, but you don't need to. Your landscape can survive on less. The key is to monitor your landscape regularly and fine-tune seasonal needs.
On average, Valley residents use about 60% of their water outside. That means outdoors is also where residents have the greatest potential to conserve water. One of the most effective ways to save water is to follow mandatory watering restrictions. In March and April, both sprinkler and drip watering are limited to 3 assigned days a week according to your watering group. Properties in groups A, C, and E can water on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Properties in groups B, D, and F can water on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Watering on Sunday is not permitted for any group. If you don't know your assigned watering days or group, simply look on your water bill, call your water provider, or visit snwa.com for help.
Turf watered by sprinklers and plants and trees watered by drip emitters have different needs. So let's first talk about sprinklers.
Check your irrigation clock first to ensure sprinklers are running only on your assigned spring days. Next, set your irrigation controller's start times to run sprinkler cycles in early morning. Water applied in the morning packs more of a punch since it won't evaporate under peak daytime temperatures or get swept away by afternoon winds. Another key to efficient lawn watering is spacing sprinkler cycles over a few hours to ensure your grass doesn't get more than it can possibly drink.
Jared, tell us why it's better to water your lawn with short sprinkler cycles.
It's great to run your sprinklers in short cycles, roughly for about 4-minute increments, and we actually call it the cycle and silk method. The reason why is that it lets the water run deep into the root zones, and it also avoids runoff. If the water runs from the grass into the street, you might be charged a water waste fee, and that would show up on your bill.
Many warm season grasses, such as Bermuda, can stay healthy with even less water. Think about testing this on your lawn. If you remove 1 minute from each of your 4-minute sprinkler cycles, you can reduce sprinkler watering by 25%. Water dry spots with a handheld hose and test sprinklers for a minute or two after every spring mowing. Look for misaligned sprinkler heads and replace broken parts promptly to avoid water waste.
Let's switch gears and talk about drip irrigation. Drip watering is needed less frequently, however you'll set it to run longer, typically 30 minutes or more each time.
That's because drip irrigation delivers water more slowly and deeply to a plant's root zone in gallons per hour rather than gallons per minute. Delivered properly, drip irrigation promotes deep roots that provide better anchoring and stability, protection from hot surface temperatures, and a greater amount of nutrients. Drip irrigation is permitted 3 days a week in spring, but established plants often do well with less.
Just because you're scheduled to water 3 times a week doesn't necessarily mean that you need to water your plants that many times. What you generally want to do is to monitor your plants and make sure that you transition them well. So, for example, in the early spring, you can water them once, and then eventually twice, and then eventually 3 times a week. That way you make sure that your plants are going to be growing correctly, and that when it warms up, they have the correct amount of water.
Like sprinklers, you should routinely check your drip system to keep your landscape's lifeline in good working condition. Walk through your landscape monthly and look for broken lines or clogged emitter heads. Flush your drip line through the end cap in both spring and fall. If you've got some spring landscaping projects planned, the key is to think smart from the start. New desert-adapted plants will need extra watering as they get established, which is allowed for the first 30 days under watering restrictions. After that, it's time to cut back. For more spring watering tips, visit snwa.com.
If you're caught watering outside your assigned watering days, you could receive a water waste fine. SNWA member agencies conduct water waste investigations throughout the valley and cite water wasters. A property owner is given an opportunity to correct the problem, but if it continues, the property will be fined for wasting water. If you see water waste, report it immediately to your water provider. A smart irrigation controller can help to reduce water waste by helping you manage your outdoor water use. If you have an older irrigation controller, consider an upgrade. The SNWA offers a rebate for qualifying smart controllers, which use weather data to assess and apply water only as your landscape needs it. New smart controllers allow you to control your watering needs from the palm of your hand through mobile apps.
So you can do all of that activity right here from your phone. With a simple app, I can stand anywhere on my property or really anywhere in the world and tell my irrigation system to change its program, and all those changes would be reflected right here. So I can just choose a particular area, I can edit the program, I can choose the days of the week, what times to start. I can even put in pictures of the areas of my landscape so that I remember which zone connects with which portion of the landscaping. So this is all happening now for about $100, and with our Smart Controller rebate program, you'd get 50 of that back.
Visit snwa.com to learn more about WaterSmart controllers and to print the coupon. Mandatory watering restrictions can help us all water wisely, avoid overwatering, and reduce water waste. In spring, you may be inclined to water more as the temperatures warm, but you don't need to. Your landscape can survive on less. The key is to monitor your landscape regularly and fine-tune seasonal needs.
Las Vegas is the driest city in the nation. We average a dismal 4 inches of rain a year and rely on the Colorado River for 90% of our water supply. The river system, however, is facing the worst drought in the basin's recorded history. As a result, Lake Mead's water level has dropped more than 130 feet since 2000. With a possible federally declared water shortage in 2020, water conservation is critical for the community. A majority of southern Nevada's water is used outdoors, primarily on landscapes, and cannot be recycled and returned to Lake Mead. Reducing outdoor water use is an important conservation goal that will help protect southern Nevada from shortage.
There are 3 steps you can take to cut your outdoor water use and make a positive impact on conservation efforts. Follow mandatory watering restrictions, report water waste, and remove useless grass. Doug, let's start with mandatory watering restrictions. Why is it so important to water only on your assigned watering days?
Well, first of all, it's important that people know that we created those restrictions around the needs of even a high water use landscape. So you can certainly keep your landscape healthy and still comply with the restrictions. What's cool about the restrictions is it seems like a fairly small and simple thing for people to do, change our clock 4 times a year. But if everybody gets on board, everyone in the valley complies with those restrictions, we're talking about saving billions of gallons of water every year.
Don't know which day you're supposed to water? We can help. Visit snwa.com and type your address where it says Find Your Watering Days and Group right on the homepage. You could incur a water waste fee if you're not following the mandatory watering restrictions.
Define water waste and what issues could result in a water waste fine.
Well, the most conspicuous type of water waste is allowing water to flow or spray off your property. So when you see water just flowing down the street, that's obviously not doing anyone any good. It's not helping a plant, simply throwing away a valuable resource. But the other ways that you can violate the water waste policy are by watering on a day that wasn't assigned to you. So remember, never on Sundays, and look up your watering schedule and know it. And also during the midsummer, we even have time of day restrictions. We don't want to run sprinkler systems in the heat of the day when that water is simply just evaporating before it can even reach the ground.
Water waste fees for SNWA member agencies start at $40 to $80 for most residential customers and double each month if the water waste continues. Properties with larger meters pay significantly more for wasting water. These charges appear on your water bill. If you're wasting water, fix it before you incur a water waste fee and report water waste to your water provider when you see it. The biggest water guzzler is grass. If the only time you step on your grass is to mow it, take it out and receive a cash rebate when you replace it with WaterSmart landscaping. An average 1,000 square foot residential landscape conversion can save more than 50,000 gallons of water per year.
But when we do remote sensing, use aerial images to look around the valley, we suspect that there's still as much ornamental or non-functional turf in the valley as has been converted to WaterSmart landscaping. So we're about halfway through what we consider to be an important project. We've been doing this now 18 years, And so we're working with some of the customers that are most resistant to these types of changes, and it's important that they reevaluate what they're doing, reevaluate what their needs, how their needs might have changed. In some cases, people's lifestyle has changed, and they might be ready now to undertake these projects. And we're also offering the largest incentive we've ever offered. So we're trying to reach that remaining non-functional turf in the valley, things where people only get on it when they're pushing a lawnmower. We can't afford water for that.
Businesses and residents can apply for the SNWA's Water Smart Landscapes rebate online or by calling the Conservation Helpline. Once you've completed the application, the SNWA will review your lawn and conversion areas and answer any questions you may have. You must participate in a pre-conversion site visit before removing any grass.
If you don't have grass but you live in a community where there is useless grass, like this, ask your homeowners association to remove it and replace it with desert landscaping.
Many of us live in an HOA, and we know it can be a little bit complicated. So you have all these common areas. You got to work through a board. The board is trying to meet the needs of the residents and so forth. So it's not as simple as convincing a single-family household to change their landscaping. What we're doing is a lot of outreach. We're in front of those boards so we can explain to them what the options are, how we might be able to help, what the financial assistance that we can provide to their project is. And likewise in the business community is also hard to reach because in some cases a facility may not be controlled by the people inside that building. And so we have to go find parent companies and so forth. Same thing, we're trying to reach out to them, get an audience with them, and have a discussion with them.
The Water Authority has teamed up with the Las Vegas Lights Football Club to encourage the community, including residents, businesses, and HOAs, to remove grass that serves no purpose.
This isn't a field, this is useless. Now we can really play.
The SNWA will pay you to remove useless grass. Our Water Smart Landscapes rebate program offers $3 for every square foot of grass you replace with desert landscaping, up to 10,000 square feet. Beyond that, customers can earn $1.50 per square foot. Since the rebate program launched in 1999, the community has removed more than 188 million square feet of turf and conserved more than 119 billion gallons of water. Leaks, whether big or small, waste water. If your water bill has increased recently for no apparent reason, you may have a leak in your home or landscape. Put on your detective cap and track down the most common water wasters with these tips.
Many U.S. homes can waste on average more than 10,000 gallons of water to leaks each year. That's enough to fill a small swimming pool. Nationwide, household leaks can waste more than 1 trillion gallons of water annually, and that's enough to fill 40 million swimming pools and 24 billion baths. Closer to home, fixing your own leaks can make a big difference on your water bill while conserving our most precious resource. Common sources of indoor home leaks include worn toilet flappers and dripping faucets or shower heads. Most can be relatively easy and, yes, inexpensive to fix.
To help get you started, the SNWA offers a free indoor water audit and retrofit kit. With the kit, you can test the water efficiency of your home and upgrade some of your fixtures.
So the indoor audit and retrofit kit serves two purposes. It has several items that you can change in your house that actually are more efficient to help you save water. And then it also provides a couple of tools to find leaks inside the house. So together, it kind of gives you opportunities to save around the house. So some examples of things that are included are a shower head that is a low flow shower head. So it's a higher efficiency shower head, performs like your normal shower heads, but uses less water. Then we also have things like a flow bag, which actually you can go around the house and test the flow of the different devices, like your aerators, your shower aerators. We give a couple of sample aerators. There's dye tablets to see if you have leaks in your toilet. So there's a lot of items in this little kit that gives you the opportunity to save water around your house. We provide these kits, one free to every property in the valley. You just have to call 258-SAVE or visit snwa.com and request the audit kit, and we'll mail it to you.
Believe it or not, the toilets in your home consume more water than your faucets and showers, especially older models. If you have a leaky toilet, or maybe you're hearing the dreaded phantom flush, that's even more water down the drain. To test your toilet for a leak, first, just listen. If it's running nonstop, you have a leak. If you're still not sure whether you have a leak, use the leak detection dye tablets from the SNWA's Indoor Water Audit and Retrofit Kit. The water's color will change to blue if you have a leak. Most likely the culprit is a worn toilet flapper. Most flappers degrade after a few years and no longer seal tightly at that point, so leaks occur. Luckily, flappers are inexpensive and easy to replace. Better yet, leaky toilet flappers could soon become a thing of the past. That's because flapperless toilets are replacing conventional flush systems. These toilets are ultra efficient and can minimize leaks, ultimately helping to conserve water. Now what about a leaky faucet? A faucet that loses just one drip per second can waste more than 3,000 gallons per year. That's enough water to take more than 180 showers. Fix leaky faucets by checking faucet washers and gaskets for wear and replacing them if necessary. Don't overlook your shower head. A shower head that leaks 10 drips per minute wastes more than 500 gallons per year. You could wash 60 loads of dishes in your dishwasher with that amount of water. You can help create a tighter connection between the shower head and the pipe stem with pipe thread seal tape, also known as Teflon tape. If that doesn't stop the leak and the repair looks more complicated, you may want to call a licensed plumber. If you find that repairs aren't enough to stop the leaks you've found, it might be time to replace your fixtures. Look for the WaterSense label when you shop for new products to increase your home's efficiency. WaterSense labeled items are widely available at retailers, have been tested to perform at 20% higher water efficiency than average products, and provide measurable savings. And yes, they'll still get you, your clothes, and your dishes clean.
So what if I suspect I have a leak, but I haven't been able to find it yet?
The first thing you want to do is make sure that everything that uses water in the house is turned off. So you want to have your irrigation off. You want to have dishwashers, washing machines, everything that uses water, not using water, so shut it off. Then you want to come out and you want to come to the meter. And so if you look at the meter down here, there's two dials. The big dial is thousands of gallons, and so you're not going to see that turning unless you just have a massive leak, but usually that's not what you see. It's the little dial, which is a triangle or a little star. If everything is turned off inside and you see that little dial still turning a little bit, that means you have a leak somewhere. And then you have to go through a process of elimination to decide, is it inside or outside? Could be both, but hopefully it's not. It's one or the other. And so we'll walk around and we'll turn the irrigation system on the outside off, and then you can kind of go inside and see if there's anything inside that may be the cause of that.
Outdoors, your irrigation system is susceptible to leaks that can waste far larger volumes of water than, say, a leaky indoor faucet. That's why regular checks are vital. Systems are subject to frequent use and high temperatures in summer, along with an occasional freeze in winter. Both extremes, along with wear and tear, can lead to cracks and breaks in both pipes and drip lines, as well as broken sprinklers and emitters. To determine whether you have a leak in your landscape, turn your irrigation clock to the manual setting and run each line or station on your system for 1 to 2 minutes. Walk through your landscape. A visual inspection should turn up obvious breaks. Check your valve box as well to ensure the valves aren't leaking. If you can't find the source of the leak but find soggy grass, damp planted areas, or puddles of water, you may have a larger problem, an underground leak.
So through the process of elimination, by turning the backflow off and the irrigation, we think we've eliminated the outside. We've gone around inside and we haven't found anything. So really the next step is possibly a mainline leak or something that's underground. And for that, you really want to hire a professional. They can come out, they can kind of determine, they usually can find it, they have tools to do that. And so, somebody you want to hire to bring a professional to take care of it.
Repairing water damage caused by leaks can cost thousands of dollars for homeowners. Thanks to new, smart leak detection devices, you can prevent or mitigate water damage at your home using a smartphone app.
So leak detection devices is kind of the new technology that we're really excited about. It will help address water loss or water damage caused by leaks, which can kind of be a big issue for homeowners. And so these new devices basically will strap on to your water lines in your house, and then they will communicate to the customer through their phone. There are two types of devices, basically. One will strap on to your water line. Sometimes they go onto your meter or just onto a pipe. So you can monitor your water use. If you have a leak, you get notified. But in order to turn your water off, if you have to, you would have to come to the meter and do a turn off yourself. The other type of device, actually, you cut pipe and you install it. It also gives you information about consumption and how much you're using, but then if you have a catastrophic leak or for some need you need to turn it off, through your phone you can actually turn it off. They cost a little bit more money, they're a little more involved to install, but it actually gives you a little more protection. So there's kind of two basic types of devices that are out there, and we'll rebate both of those through our programs.
The SNWA offers a rebate of 50% of the purchase price, or $200, whichever is less. To receive the rebate, you must agree to allow SNWA to periodically conduct research through phone calls, surveys, or monitoring of water use to determine the long-term benefits of various water-smart technologies. For program details, visit snwa.com. When you turn on the tap, you expect the water to flow, but there's a lot of work behind the scenes to make that happen. Water embarks on an incredible journey before it reaches your faucet with help from municipal water agencies.
Nearly 90% of southern Nevada's drinking water begins as snow or rain in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. After the snow melts and drains into the river, the water travels hundreds of miles before reaching Lake Mead. The Southern Nevada Water Authority draws and pumps this water to its state-of-the-art water treatment facilities. Following treatment that ensures water meets all state and federal Safe Drinking Water Act standards, water flows through an intricate network of pipes, pumps, and reservoirs before reaching its final destination, your home. As a regional agency, the Water Authority secures long-term water resources and oversees conservation planning. The Water Authority also provides water treatment and wholesale delivery for Southern Nevada, delivering treated drinking water from Lake Mead to area water providers, who then deliver water to you, the customer. SNWA helps to ensure safe and reliable water delivery by operating two of the nation's most advanced water treatment facilities, River Mountains and Alfred Merritt Smith. Water quality starts at Lake Mead, the largest man-made reservoir in the nation. Spanning nearly 250 square miles, Lake Mead is also impressively deep. The Water Authority's third intake plumbs these depths to draw the freshest, purest water. The third intake is designed to maintain access to our community's primary water supply, even as lake levels continue to decline.
The third intake extends into the lowest portions of Lake Mead, ensuring that we have access to our water even though the lake levels continue to decline. Now, the deeper water is easier to treat, easier to disinfect, and provides higher quality water to our customers. The pumping station, currently under construction, will work in tandem with the third intake to provide quality water to over 2 million Valley residents.
When the pumping station is completed in 2020, SNWA will have the ability to draw water from the lake, even if lake levels drop too low. Provides an effective disinfectant that destroys bacteria and waterborne pathogens. The next step in treatment is multi-stage filtration, which includes a step known as flocculation. Particles in the water form clumps called floc. The floc is so small it can't be seen by the naked eye. Flocculated water passes through multiple filters that trap and remove these particles. Chlorine is then added to the water as it leaves the treatment facilities. Both chlorine and corrosion control efforts further protect the water as it journeys through the pipeline distribution system, sometimes 30 miles or more uphill on its way to you.
Well, most of our water is delivered by gravity to our customers. This means that we use the natural principle of allowing the water to simply flow downhill. We locate our reservoirs farther uphill from the customers they serve, and thus when that water just simply flows naturally out of the pipes, we get water to the tap. Also providing the water uphill gives our customers the adequate tap pressure that they need.
Highly skilled operators guide water through a series of pumping facilities to move water to reservoirs and water tanks throughout the community. Reservoirs provide sufficient storage to meet our home and business water needs, as well as fire protection to support our community's first responders. The Las Vegas Valley Water District, the cities of North Las Vegas and Henderson, maintain more than 100 reservoir basins and tanks that collectively hold more than 1 billion gallons of water. The Las Vegas Valley Water District is building its first reservoir in 10 years.
Well, this reservoir is designed to meet the growing needs of Summerlin. We're about 33 miles as the crow flies from Lake Mead, where we get most of our water, and this will hold about 10 million gallons of water. It takes a lot of energy to pump that water up the hill from 33 miles away. We do that primarily in the evening hours. We don't have the constant droning of pumps, and it helps to reduce costs by using the energy during the evening when those costs are reduced.
To maintain water quality in the distribution system, operators and distribution personnel keep a watchful eye on flows, water levels, system pressures, and pumping activities. They work 24 hours a day, 365 days a year to monitor your water quality. Considering the important role that water plays in our daily lives, local water providers in Southern Nevada are committed to maintaining reliable water infrastructure that safely meets our community's water needs. By the time water reaches your tap, it's been treated and tested to the highest state and federal standards.
There are more ways to save, so join us next time here on Waterways. If you'd like to share your conservation efforts at home, contact us at Waterways, 1001 South Valley View Boulevard, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89153. Or send us an email through our website at snwa.com. We may feature your story. For more how-to videos and tips to conserve and care for our water, connect with us on social media. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time, right here on Waterways.
A plan of attack, like something that maybe the military would use?
It's a plan that my daughter uses to plan for her basketball games.
Strategic plan is how I get my wife and kids in an area that they don't want to be.
It's a document that's strategically done.
A strategic plan would be the implementation of a vision.
A strategic plan is a guiding, fluid document that helps a city plan for its future. The goals and objectives have been identified through community input.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to City Council. We'll call this meeting to order, and we're going to start with our invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Our invocation tonight will be given by Father Jim Lyons from St. Christopher's Church. And please rise. Do not see him.
Duncan?
Yeah?
Want to help out?
I don't usually do that kind of thing. Maybe the mayor can. He prays in public more than I do. I'm more like a Quaker.
All right. I'll be happy to pray. Thank you. Our dear Father in heaven, we're grateful that we could be gathered in this public city council meeting tonight. We ask thy blessings upon us, that we can have a good meeting, that we will have civil discourse, and that we will take care of the city's business in a manner that's pleasing to thee and pleasing to our community. We're grateful for the opportunity to serve and to interact with one another and to be citizens in this great community of Boulder City. We are so thankful for the bounteous blessings that we have here, for the good citizens that live here, and the chance that we have to rub shoulders with one another, learn from one another, raise our families together, and that we ask that thy blessings will be upon us, that we can direct the city in a way that will help us to be prosperous and to plan for the future, that we can have goodwill towards all and make Boulder City an inviting place for all to come to and live in and work and play in. We are mindful of all that thou hast done for us, and we invoke thy blessings upon this meeting tonight, and do so in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. We have a few public announcements tonight. First off, we have our acting city manager. I think that's Kevin Nicholson. Is that right? With some kind of announcement.
Some kind of announcement. Well, I'm up here for short term, but I wanted to take the time this evening on behalf of the city manager to celebrate a special occasion that's coming right behind me. It's all yours.
You did a wonderful job there, Fire Chief. So, Honorable Mayor and Council, I come from the Far East. Where was I? Oh, D.C. And I understood that there was a special event that's going to be happening this month. And woe would be me if I were to again miss another very important special occasion, a birthday, sometime in the month of March. And so I really wanted to get here in time to be able to celebrate this. But it is a special birthday because it does have two numbers and it is over 50. We'll just leave it at that. I do have, some help because I think it's appropriate that we have some assistance in singing Happy Birthday to the mayor. Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ron. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Whoa.
Oh my goodness. Those Those are for me.
Thank you. I was on to all of you, but I didn't know all of you were coming. And I really don't need all this, so I'm sharing it tonight. Thank you. That's so nice.
Got the right team and everything.
Right team.
Thank you.
Councilman Schumann will argue with you on that.
Oh my, are you a donut lover?
I guess I am. Thank you. Wait, where's my kiss from Councilman Hare's wife? I was.
I can't. I wish I could, but
Now that would
You got Jim.
Yeah, I might make the front page. Yeah. Guess I better blow out my fire hazard. Yes.
You're my kind of guy,
Please
Rich.
do.
Thank you.
Oh no, share.
Thank you guys. I love you.
I don't have a this one.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I'm glad you had a birthday.
The biggest surprise is that our city manager's back.
And eating dinner.
Yeah, that's right.
Those are really good donuts.
All right. So we do have another public announcement, and that's from Michael Mays, our Community Development Director, regarding the Big Clean.
Well, good evening, Mayor and members of the council. I don't know if I can top that, though, but I do want to remind our residents that this coming Saturday, March 30th, we're having the second annual Big Clean. This is a partnership between the Chamber and the City. It will be held at the Bravo Field parking lot between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. It's a great opportunity for residents to clean out their yards and their properties of items that can be recycled and reused. And this effort not only helps the organizations that will be partnering with the Chamber and the City, but it helps to improve Boulder City's neighborhoods and aligns with our motto of being clean, green Boulder City. On the city's website, we have additional information about the event, as well as information about acceptable items. You can also call the Community Development Department if you have any questions. So we're looking forward to everybody coming out on March 30th.
Thank you. All right. Our next item is our initial public comment period devoted to items on the agenda. Anyone wishing to speak on an agenda item? Duncan. Mr. McCoy, I should say.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor and Council. It's entertaining and diverting to be on this side of the room for a change. I came to talk a little bit about agenda item number 4, I believe it is, on the consent agenda. This is the 15th annual Best Damn Barbecue, Kansas City Barbecue Society sponsored competition for cookers from all over the country. You see them driving down the road with their motorhomes and their big barbecue apparatuses trailing along behind. They come in here, they cook, they earn points for national competition. We have street vendors, we have retail vendors. We have lots and lots of people. We have outdoor entertainment and live music. It's going to be a lot of fun. Most of us have been to this before. I know I have. The rest of my Rotary Club has. This is sponsored by the Rotary Club of Boulder City, which is the original Rotary Club of which I'm president this year. We have Larry Archuleta with us, who's this year's barbecue chairman. Larry, you want to stand up? And he's next year's Rotary Club president. We're here to answer questions should you decide to pull this off the consent agenda. we'll be happy to answer whatever questions you have. This will bring in 12 to 15,000 people in Boulder City. We did try to make the proposal as crystal clear as we possibly could. So here we are. We're working down toward the barbecue. It'll be a lot of fun. Y'all come. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have an entry this year?
I don't do brisket. I do ribs. I do chicken.
All right. Thank you. Thank you to our Rotary Club for coming out. Okay. So we, any other public comment on an agenda item? Okay, we'll close our initial public comment period and move to our approval of our regular agenda. Madam City Clerk. Mr. City Manager.
No changes.
Mr. City Attorney.
No changes.
Council.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Next is our approval of the consent agenda. Madam City Clerk.
No changes.
Mr. City Manager.
No changes.
Mr. City Attorney.
No changes.
Come back to council.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. So, again, thank you. Don't think I saw, maybe. We have a fourth grader back there in the back. Go ahead and stand up so we can recognize you. Are there any others out there? Yell out your name for us. Trevor, thanks for coming tonight, Trevor. We appreciate you being here. He's here for the Nevada Citizen. All right, we are on then to our regular agenda, and our first item is recognition of advisors and explorers from Post 198. Come on in, guys and gals.
Wow, I see some big trophies.
Craig.
Great.
I'm Tim Shea, and I'm the Chief of Police, and I have Sergeant Tomeo here. He's one of our advisors, and he will tell you what these young guys and gals did down in Chandler.
Good afternoon, or good evening. My name is Craig Tomeo. I'm a sergeant with the Boulder City Police Department. And for the 6th year in a row, the Explorers went down to Chandler for competition relating to Explorer law enforcement things. This year, there were 6 different states that participated. There were over 50 posts that participated and just under 1,000 Explorers that participated. We took home 4 trophies this year. We took home first place for the female Explorer Advisor Run. That's Miss Emily Mays. She ran like a bunny down there. She was the first female to cross the line down there. She was fantastic as far as running. Then we took first place for the 511 Tactical Breach and Officer Down Rescue. What that is they had to go breach a door, then they had to go in, rescue a downed officer, and bring him through. We took first place for that. Again, understand the dynamics of how many Explorers are down there. We took third place for what's known as tubular assault, where we assaulted a bus, and then we ended up taking 4th place for tactical emergency medicine. But I'm extremely proud of our advisors. We combined up, our advisors and Explorers. We combined with the Las Vegas Department of Public Safety, formerly known as the Marshals, and we went down there as a tandem team, as we have done in the past with Henderson and Metro. So we're extremely proud of them. We have advisors, and you see other Explorers standing off to the side that they weren't able to go down and go, but we're extremely proud of them.
Thank you. And just for the public's benefit, can you explain the difference between advisors and explorers?
Okay. Advisors are commissioned police officers that are advising the explorers. And if you equate it to the Boy Scouts, they're the scoutmasters and assistant scoutmasters. And since you brought that up, Giovanni Torcaso is an advisor. You saw him stand up when he just got pinned as a new officer. He has been with us as an explorer, so you went from an explorer to a commissioned officer. You also see 2 other men in blue standing off to the side. You've got Kevin Barakat and Kenny Calzada. They were also explorers, and now they're commissioned police officers. So this is what your program from the city is breeding and how you're getting a gene pool for officers. I mean, we're extremely proud to have them on as full-time officers now. And it just shows you what your program that you guys support does for the city. And we are self-funded, but we get a lot of help from people throughout the city that donate for us, because we had to come up with our own money to go to Chandler for the past 6 years. And again, that's normally about $5,000. But that's what you can expect out of the Explorers for future police officers.
That's great. And so this young gentleman right here is an Explorer, correct? But he's got a special uniform on. Is there a
Correct.
reason for that?
He's from the Las Vegas Department of Public Safety. He's one of the marshals. Unfortunately, all of them weren't able to come up. He's representing them. Is Christian Lopez, and he is their lieutenant for that, because there is rank within the Explorer organizations.
All right. Well, thank you. Don't they look great, everybody? They always represent Boulder City really well. We're going to come down, council, if you would, and take a few pictures. We'll hand out some certificates, too. All right. They don't want to be recognized.
Okay, you ready? Okay. Here we go. Ready? No problem. Now I'll take a couple here. One more. Perfect. Thank you. I think you got some more here.
All right, I'm just going to hand these out to you. This is not going to be your certificate, probably, unless you get lucky, but you can rearrange them when you get out there. Thank you. Appreciate it. I want to see how adept you are at doing this. Congratulations. Thank you. They'll give you two, maybe. Congratulations. Thank you. Fast runner. Bad guys aren't going to get away from you. Thank you. Sir. That'd be great. Thank you. Good job, guys. You did a great job. I always let anybody who wants to talk. So, any takers?
My name is Anil Sharma. I am the sergeant with the Boulder City Police Department's Explorer program. I just want to thank everyone for giving us the opportunity to come up here and giving us a bit of your time. It's an absolute pleasure to serve the Boulder City community, and we're all very excited to continue our service to the city of Boulder. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you for coming out tonight. You're wonderful. The Explorers always represent Boulder City well and always do a great job in their competitions down there. Every year I get to talk about them in my State of the City, and they make us proud. And thank you, Chief. All right, our next item is item number 7, a presentation of the Parks and Recreation Director's annual report. We have Roger Hall, our Parks and Rec Director.
Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, my name is Roger Hall, Director of Parks and Recreation for the great city of Boulder City. And it's my honor tonight to present a list of accomplishments completed by the Parks and Recreation Department for 2018. The Parks and Recreation Department staff work hand in hand with a number of other city departments to make sure the job gets done. We appreciate their hard work and dedication to the city of Boulder City. The Public Works Department, Police Department, Fire Department, Finance, Community Development, City Clerk's Office, and Communications Manager, just to name a few. Thank you very much for your assistance. I would also like to thank the city manager and you, the city council, for your continued support in making Boulder City a great place to live. Our mission is to provide high quality and cost effective recreation activities for all residents of Boulder City. Here are some statistics that we put together. Participants range from 6 months to over 100 years old. Over 40 different special interest classes. Over 668 participants last year in our youth sports program. 7 different adult sports leagues. Over 150 special event applications annually. And for 2018, we approved 50 film shoot applications. The first major project we've been working on is the new aquatic facility. Working with the Public Works Department and SNH Architecture and the Communications Manager, the community is buzzing about the possibility of a new aquatic center. As you are aware, the swimming pool is constructed in 1980 and in a poor state of repair. 39 years is a long time and mechanical systems are failing. In an effort to get the word out to our residents, we have had a number of workshops, town hall meetings, surveys, and more. The current state of the facility is very poor. There is rust on the doors and within the mechanical room, cracks in the deck and the bottom of the pool. SNH Architecture was hired to get the community input and present a conceptual design for the community preferred facility. The question of financing a new aquatic facility will be on the June ballot for consideration. Other parks and facility improvements working with the Public Works Department include Lakeview Park. Lakeview Park was renovated and a new gazebo was added to the park. The entire park was upgraded and some of the funding was through the CDBG Block Grant Fund with the county. Again, working with the Public Works Department, a new basketball court was constructed at Veterans Memorial Park. There you go. That is what you're looking at is the CDBG Lakeview Park. But we are very pleased with how it turned out with the basketball court at Veterans Memorial Park in this beautiful park setting. Shade structures were also installed at the bleacher area at Bravo softball field, and these turned out great, and I'm sure they'll be appreciated in the weeks to come when it gets so hot out there for the people watching the games. And yes. Another project completed during this time was the replacement of the playground safety surfacing at several of our parks, including Del Prado Park, Hemingway Park, Veterans Memorial Park, and Bicentennial Park. We also installed exercise equipment for adults at Veterans Memorial Park, playground by the Splash Park. And what a better way to watch your kids and get some exercise at the same time. Another exciting improvement was at the rec center was the replacement of the old lighting system with the LED system. And wow, if you play basketball, what a difference, more light and saving a bunch of money for the city of Boulder City. Working with Brock Armentrout, our contracts manager, Diane Pelletier, finance director, and Julie Calloway from Parks and Rec, we were able to combine all concessions under a new director of golf contract with Andy Shaper. This allows us to have one point of contact for both courses. It also allows the courses to work together versus competing against each other. And we're looking forward to seeing increased revenue at both courses, and great things are expected from our new golf director, Andy. Special events, filming, and unique Boulder City. The Parks and Rec Department coordinates a number of special events for the city. Over 150 special events for 2018 to be exact. Working with the fire department, police department, and public works, we make sure all special events are coordinated and safe for all residents and visitors to our unique town. The city of Boulder City, in partnership with the 4th of July Jamboree Committee, hosts a full day of fun events and patriotic activities annually in Boulder City. And picture it as a huge crowd enjoying themselves at Veterans Memorial Park in anticipation of the amazing fireworks show. The Pumpkin Man Triathlon is another great event. Participants from all over the country and world come to Boulder City to swim at Lake Mead, bike up that tortuous hill from the lake, and run a 5K which finishes up at Wilbur Square in Bicentennial Park in the heart of downtown. Boulder City is also becoming famous as a photo shoot and movie location destination. We coordinate 50 film shoots at different facilities during 2018. The most popular film location is the El Dorado Dry Lake Bed, and we receive many referrals from the Nevada Film Office. Boulder City is a very unique place. Many residents and visitors enjoy our beautiful parks and recreation such as Bootleg Canyon. Children learn about our unique animal life and experience the beautiful outdoors. We also provide amenities for a variety of our four-legged friends as well. And Hemingway Park has become a destination for a variety of tour operations who bring thousands of people to the park to see our wild bighorn sheep herd. Visitors get the opportunity to see and photograph these magnificent animals in our beautiful park setting. Looking forward, the Parks and Rec Department and the Public Works Department have a variety of projects for the upcoming fiscal year. Oasis Park improvements will include the renovations of the old basketball court there, including a non-slip surface and installation of some new playground equipment. Staff will continue to get the word out to the public regarding the proposed new aquatic center. Many meetings will be scheduled over the next few months to educate the public on this project. And we encourage active participation from the public as the ballot question will be decided in June. Shade for participants and spectators is also very important in the desert, and we're working to get shade over the bleachers at Wayland Baseball Field, over the bleachers at Veterans Memorial Park as well. Infrastructure repairs to our other facilities are also very important. We'll be repairing some stream beds at the Boulder Creek Golf Course, which started leaking a few years back. Conservation of our precious resource water is very important to Boulder Creek and as well as Boulder City Golf Course. And next year we'll be starting the process to renovate the irrigation system at the municipal golf course by upgrading the almost 50-year antiquated system. The city will have much more irrigation control, which will save the city a great deal of money and conserve our precious resource. Bootleg Canyon is becoming a very unique recreation area, and we'd like to do a feasibility study for possible improvements. This valuable asset to Boulder City attracts thousands of visitors who ride, walk, and explore beautiful Bootleg Canyon. Last but not least, we are working with Andy Shaper, our new director of golf, to install a disc golf course at Boulder Creek. Working with the local disc golf company, we'll be introducing disc golf to the residents of Boulder City and introducing Boulder City to the disc golf community. Disc golf has been a popular sport, which has a potential to raise revenue at the Boulder Creek golf course. That is the end of my presentation, and I would be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you, Roger. A lot of times we think of Boulder City as a destination for outdoor adventure, and we tend to think of what outside partners do to make that happen. But honestly, your presentation shows that that's happening internally, constantly here, and upgrading our facilities, introducing new programs and new sports and other things like that. It's fantastic. Great presentation. Council. Mr. McManus.
I know that it's been proposed in the budget work at Reflection Park Center. I didn't see that among your list of parks that were to be looked at. Is that something that is on your agenda, or?
Yes, sir. We're working with the landscape department. We're going to be probably taking out all that small rock and putting in DG, decomposed granite, replacing parts of the irrigation system, and also we're putting in some new plants. So yes, that's on the radar as well.
Okay. And the other thing that the projects that you had on there and ones that are proposed, the neighborhood parks. Again, I think that is very important to our community. Certainly improvements at Veterans Park are needed, but I think those neighborhood parks are the ones that our community gets to use the most, and glad to see that there's work being done on those as well.
Well, it's very important to keep those up because, again, the community uses those. They live close to the park. They're used every day, and it's very important to us.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Councilwoman Levitt.
Great presentation, Roger. Thank you. What is disc golf?
Oh, well, it's like with a Frisbee. And you have a regular golf course. It's set up with posts, and it has a kind of a net around it with a chain. And it's just like a par 3, par 4, par 5. You get that many throws of the Frisbee to get it into net, into the hole. And it's just like golf, but it's using a Frisbee instead of a golf ball.
So you play it at a golf course?
We are working it out on the back nine of Boulder Creek, yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So. Any other questions?
I've got a good one at Sunset Park. You should go check it out.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Item number 8, Resolution 6906 regarding the Boulder City election. We have Diane Pelletier.
Good evening. Diane Pelletier, Boulder City Finance Director. Resolution 6906 is a resolution designated as the 2019 Boulder City Election Resolution. This is a procedural resolution required by Bond Council, and it's to ensure that we are notifying the public of the upcoming bond question on the June election ballot. This is for the Aquatic Center. And we recommend passage, and I will answer any questions I can.
Okay. Any questions or comments, Council? Mr. Hari.
I don't have a question, but I do have. Let's see. I don't have a question, but I do want to make a statement on. In order to be consistent with my position that I took at the last council meeting, I can't vote yea in this particular resolution. But correspondingly, I cannot vote nay as well because I don't wish to hold the process up. And therefore, I want to explain why I'll abstain on this vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others?
Again, I also don't have questions necessarily of you. It's questions, again, about this project, especially the cost of it. And I know that's not a part of this that you were involved with. But again, we're being asked to approve something this evening that far exceeds what the architects had offered. It was dubbed the community preferred model. When it was originally submitted, it was at 21 million, then went to 27, then 37. Now we're at 40. The total cost of this will be approximately 80 million to the taxpayers over the life of these bonds if they were to be approved for 40 million. Is that correct?
Based on the interest rate used in the net calculation. But again, it doesn't mean we're going to issue that many bonds. Just wanted to throw that out there too.
I do understand that, and again, that's another problem that I have with this. There was a resolution at the last meeting that, we promised not to do that, and yet here we are again saying we will do that up to the $40 million. Probably more troubling for me is the fact that we are still not identifying a particular project here. We're asking for $40 million of approval for any recreational related activity. It's not specific to the project. It's not specific to the location. Again, I find that very troubling. And I don't feel it's necessary. Again, I understand that that's not part of what you were involved with the wording of, but it's very clear that this can be used for any recreation-related purpose, and that is a very broad category as defined by the statute. I do think that this could be modified in such a way that we could specify exactly what project and what location this is being done for. I also didn't find anything, at least in the referenced statutes, where this is necessary at this time. Our laws here in Boulder City say that we have to go to the voters and ask for approval for debt beyond $1 million. The wording, at least, of the statutes that were cited is just to go ahead and do the actual issuance of the bonds. I didn't find anything in the statute that said this has to be done prior to the voters giving their approval. This appears to be something that council could do if the voters do approve that amount. And again, I know that may not be something you would understand. Mr. City Attorney, is that something that you would like to speak to?
This is the recommendation of our bond counsel to bring this at this time. So we're following that recommendation because they're...
Well, I'm asking if it's a requirement within the statute, because I did not find it as a requirement.
As far as the notice and the publication, yes, that is a requirement. So,
okay, I understand that part of it, but this is going beyond that. This is actually authorizing the issuance of these bonds at the time that the question, if it passes.
The voters will have to approve that if that's going to happen. So.
Well, again, it seems that we're bringing two things together here. I understand that the statute requires us to give notice to the voters about this, but this resolution goes beyond that and actually approves the sale of these bonds.
Can I just speak because
I'm addressing this to the city attorney at this time.
And this has been that's right. This has been a team effort. I have not spoken with bond counsel. This has been something that has been done between our city clerk and finance director, and this is their recommendation, this resolution. So it's a procedural step that they deem necessary prior to this question going before the voters. And so we're following, the advice of bond counsel in that regard. Our city clerk has apparently had a direct conversation with our bond counsel in this regard. Again, we're following the advice of bond counsel because it's necessary that we do that and we take those steps in order for this to procedurally happen as it's supposed to happen.
Again, I don't find that in statute. If we are relying upon opinions by bond counsel, I would prefer to see that included in our packet so that I can understand exactly what it is they're basing that on. Okay. Madam City Clerk, you had something to input?
Well, I asked the exact question that you're asking to the bond attorney directly because they had submitted a 19-page resolution a month ago that I questioned whether or not it was even necessary. The election resolution was not accurate, so we had a bunch of changes to make. And when I talked to him on the phone, I asked him, is this a necessary resolution since we are holding a bond election in conjunction with our general election? This seems to speak to calling for this resolution if we were to hold a special election outside of our election cycle. He advised me that it is required by law.
Well, again, my reading of the law that's being referenced is only that notification of the intent to do this is put to the voters, and a resolution for that has to be decided by council. What's included in this resolution is the actual authorization to go ahead with up to $40 million in bonds. And again, if there is information that's being relied upon by outside counsel, I want to see that in the packet.
We'll keep that in mind, but I would just like to say that when they give us recommendations and they're responsible for the wording of this because it's what they do, if we were to not follow their direction, they're not going to issue a validity opinion in order to issue the bonds. So we did review it. Diane and I talked it over numerous times, and he did make some changes that we were concerned about. I will express that, or Diane can, or Steve can, to them that this seems confusing, and to maybe cite, I thought it was cited in the resolution, but I hear what you're saying, and we'll be sure to make that clear to them.
Well, then I guess my question for you would be, this is not necessary tonight. There is no deadline at this time for this to be done tonight. Is that correct?
That is not correct.
When is the deadline?
It has to be passed tonight because I have to send it to them because we publish it in the paper, and it has to be passed in order to get it to the paper in time to publish in April.
Okay. I thought that the dates for publication that were listed were in May.
they need it. I had to beg her to push it out 2 weeks.
This was pulled from the last meeting agenda because they wanted it on that one. So we pulled it off, and we had numerous conversations with them, and here we are tonight. So we really can't put it off to another meeting.
And I guess the problem is that, I understand that you all have been doing work on this. Mm-hmm. I personally, and I don't believe the other members of council, have the benefit of that research to be able to make the decision on those types of things at this time. And again, this project seems to be constantly against a deadline. We have to do something on deadline. And when we're talking about $40 million, that works out to, I think it's about $5,000 per person for everybody here in Boulder City. I don't like doing those things on deadline. Almost done. Also, looking at the other statutory references in there, it appears that we've already met the prerequisites. This has gone before the Debt Management Commission. That information has already been put in there. As I read through the NRS that's referred to, again, I don't find where this level of authorization is required at this time. So I'll be proposing an amendment based on whatever other conversation we may have here tonight. I'll let other members of council have their input first, however.
Thank you, Mr. Schuman.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll weigh in a little bit on this. I think we all need to vote on this. I don't see why anybody would be able to abstain. But secondly, the election question, it's more of a question of procedure and following bond council's recommendation. And since we are moving forward with this election question, which we've already had a chance to debate, and we have all weighed in on how we feel about that and voted on that already, since we are moving forward with this, I think it's appropriate, more than appropriate, to follow the recommendation of our bond counsel, which was handed to our legal counsel and our clerk and yourself. And I don't see any reason to question it. If we're moving forward with this election question, which we are, then I think it's appropriate to follow bond counsel. That's my feelings.
Thank you. Others? All right, so I'll open this up to public comment if there be any. I'll close public comment. You have a proposed?
Yes, in the second clause of the resolution, I would offer the amendment that it be specified that this is for a replacement facility for our existing pool, and that the project be specified to be located only at Broadbent Park. And I would ask for a second on that.
Okay, I haven't heard a second. Mr. City Manager.
Honorable Mayor and Council, although you can certainly amend this, I would be very cautious about that wording, because if you use the word pool, then that's all you can use it for. It is more than just a pool. It's an aquatic center, so it's anything and everything dealing with that facility. I know that there's been some questions about the wording. The wording is such so that it doesn't exclude any type of activity or function that is being built out there, or the facilities that are being built for any functions outside of the pool. For example, if there's an office and you need to outfit that office, it would include the furniture. The furniture, one would question, what does furniture have to do with a pool? If you need a mechanical room, you need things to move the water, the pumps and the heaters and whatnot. Sometimes you could say, yes, that's a direct, correlation to the pool, maybe not. There are other functions, other activities that are also being as part of this facility. So I want to be very cautious or advise the council to be cautious about the wording, because just saying pool alone, you may be excluding a significant or a portion of whatever ends up being designed and or built in that facility and in that location.
And I would just respond that I believe the wording of the statute, the definitions that are in the statute, are broad enough to cover that. My problem with this is it is not specific. The wording that's being put before the voters is that we can issue up to $40 million of money, bonds, taxes, for any recreational purpose anywhere. It is not specific to this project.
What's your statutory reference on that?
I'm looking at the wording of the resolution itself, of the ballot question, and it refers only to recreational facilities, and it is not specific to anything at Broadbent Park.
But is there an NRS reference there that you're talking
No,
about?
it's the wording. It's what we're being asked to approve is the wording.
Do we, the ballot question language has already been approved, right? And so that's what's going forward to the voters. So if we were to change this, it wouldn't square with the ballot question language, correct? Okay.
That is correct. And the other thing, too, that I would just mention to the council, that whether it's this particular resolution or as we move forward, anything dealing with this particular project, the council ultimately has the authority as to what it approves and for how much, and what things will go forward, and even ultimately what amount of bonding that you would actually do. So, the wording is such that it says up to $40 million. It could be, significantly less. We don't know until we get to the process of designing and then getting an actual RFP out there, so that we know, what those bids come in at.
And that's been the issue that I've brought up all along. Those are the issues I've brought up all along on this. We don't have a firm figure. It's not related specifically to this. The statute says that these bonds could be issued up to 6 years. So we could finish that project, and 4 years from now, another composition of this council could say, well, you know what? We've decided to go ahead and issue however many millions of dollars in bonds for something else, and the approval is already there. I have a real problem with that. And I'm not just bringing that up tonight. I have brought that up throughout this process. This is not new. The problem with the wording of what's being done.
All right. Unless there's any further discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move for approval of Resolution 6906.
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Abstain.
Okay, we have 3 in favor, 1 abstention, and Mr. McManus a nay.
And I believe that creates a problem under the NRS for approval of tax increase. I think you need to refer to the NRS. I believe the section is 350.020.
Okay.
Section 3.
Well,
so
we can look into that.
You can look into that.
Sure.
The motion carried.
Yeah.
And certainly you can make inquiries with staff on that particular point.
I'm making note of that according to that section of the statute, a 2/3 majority of this body is required for approval of a tax increase, and that's what's being referred to here.
Yeah. We'll look into that, Mayor, and we can get back to council on that point.
Can I ask a question too about the abstention? No offense, but I mean, how can you abstain from this vote? Like, on what grounds? How is that? How, you know what I mean?
I don't think grounds are necessary, are they?
I mean, it's not a conflict of interest. It's not,
You're correct. It's not a conflict, and so under that rationale, there wouldn't be a need to abstain.
Yeah,
because there's no
I just
conflict.
don't see where that comes from.
It's certainly not a mandatory abstention.
No.
So it's an elective one that Mr. Harhe has chosen.
And it's not a recommended practice as well from the Code of Ethics.
Okay. So we are on to our final public comment period. Item number 9. Anyone wishing to speak in final public comment? Judy, please.
Judy DeShane. I'll have to agree with Mr. McManus's objections to the wording. When I read all this stuff through earlier today, I glanced at it over the weekend, but then I read it earlier today, and it seemed convoluted, like we're putting the horse before the cart. So I would agree with his objections to it, not that it's going to matter to anybody but me.
Thank you. Any others? All right, we'll close public comment and we'll move to our city council reports. Mr. Harvey.
This Saturday, the Senior Center is sponsoring the Rock and Roll and Stroll event as a fundraiser for Meals on Wheels. So I encourage all to partake in that fun this Saturday.
Thank you. And that's at 11 o'clock, is that correct?
11 o'clock. Yeah, 10 or 11.
10 or 11? I heard 11, but it might be at 10. 11 o'clock? Okay. Councilwoman Levitt?
Mr. Mayor, I had a few announcements tonight. First of all, congratulations to our explorers. They always represent Boulder City so well. A big deal is happening in Boulder City. I don't know if you've seen it on Facebook, but the ribbon cutting for the Boulder City Express is March 18th at 5:30 at Chili Julie's. The Boulder City Express is a shuttle service between Las Vegas and Boulder City, and will actually begin this weekend. This has really been a major effort by the Chamber of Commerce, and kudos to Jill Lagan for coordinating this and making it happen. I got to sit in on a couple of meetings early on, and kind of the idea behind this was that we have all kinds of tour buses that are coming out to Boulder City to go to the dam, the Desert Princess, the zip lines, those kinds of things. And we were trying to figure out a way how they could come into Boulder City and drop off these visitors and tourists that are bypassing our city, but just drop them off in the downtown area and let them have lunch or shop or whatever. And so through coordinating with the shuttle buses and the different attractions around Boulder City, they have worked out a deal that tourists and visitors can be dropped off in Boulder City. So it looks as if there's a shuttle that goes direct from Las Vegas to Boulder City. I'm not sure about that, but they're also piggybacking on all these other tours. So this has been a long time in the making, and I'm very excited that it has happened. And I have talked to some of the businesses down in that area, and they are just thrilled. So it'll be bringing, we'll just have to see how it works, but I think it has the potential to bring a lot more visitors to Boulder City.
What time was that at again?
It's Monday, March 18th at 5:30 at Chili Julie's.
Thank you.
And then this morning at the LVCVA, if any of you watched the news tonight, we had kind of a, I'm going to use a pun, groundbreaking vote this morning to begin negotiations with the boring company. We've been looking for a people mover concept at the LVCVA for this new convention center that's being built. And from one end of the campus to the other, it's about 2 miles. So it's really too far for people to walk when they're at conventions, especially in the summer, although we don't have a lot of conventions in the summer, but it's just too far for people to walk. So they had, I think, originally 9 people who are interested, and they narrowed it down to 6, and then the top 2. And all of the other proposals were above ground, light rail and that kind of thing, which interferes with construction and far more expensive. So this was the most inexpensive, and it certainly has caught the attention of people, not only nationally, but internationally, because it's so innovative. So the boring and the tunnels really aren't a new concept, because we have subways all over the world. So it's kind of a subway system, but the cars are called autonomous electric vehicles, and they're all Tesla vehicles that run on these, I don't know, electronically somehow on these rails. but we saw a demonstration of it today, so this is really exciting. And another thing that's advantageous about it is that this can go on while the other construction is going on. It doesn't interfere with the construction. So there are a lot of positives to it. I see Claudia out there, wanted to congratulate Emergency Aid for their, I always want to call it chips and salsa, but I think it's the salsa competition, right? Anyway, that was really a fun event, very well attended. Mike Piscini hosted. They had dancers from Dance Etc. doing the salsa. So it was really fun, and I assume it was very successful because there were so many participants there. And I just wanted to mention, if any of you take the Review Journal, they had a series of 7 articles in the RJ about the Southern Nevada Water Authority and what is being done at the Southern Nevada Water Authority and the drought conditions and the drought contingency plan. And John Ensminger, who's the general manager of the SNWA, was going to be here at the next meeting to do a presentation. He called and said he'll actually be in Washington, D.C. On that Tuesday because he'll be presenting before the Senate this drought contingency plan. So we will reschedule him. So that's my report.
Good report. Thank you. Mr. McManus.
I attended the Civilian Military Council luncheon today at Nellis Air Force Base. They're in the midst of their red flag operations. I believe they said this was the second of 3 for the year. They have over 80 additional aircraft on the base for these exercises. I had to go in and renew my pass today. I walked into the visitor center, and it looked like the UN in there because there were Saudi officers, there were Belgian officers. They have Air Force personnel from all over the world in there. It's a great spectacle to see those aircraft in operation out there. They do a great job. One of the subjects that has come up for Nellis Air Force Base, they've done a recent evaluation on their economic impact of Nellis on Southern Nevada, and it was formerly at $5.5 billion in economic impact. It's now at $5.7 billion. They are looking to expand their area of responsibility in Nevada. And one point that they wanted to make clear is that as you hear about them wanting more control over more open areas, they're not expanding their areas where they drop ordnance. So they've had issues where they've had aircraft down. They've not been able to get to them until they have permission from other federal agencies. So that was a point that they want to make clear to people. They're not looking to use up more of our desert for dropping bombs on. They would just like to be able to run their mission here in Nevada. Again, that operation out there at Nellis Air Force Base is very important to Southern Nevada. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your service there. Mr. Schuman.
Thank you, Mayor. This Saturday is the opening day for Little League in Boulder City. It'll be a pretty fun day out there. Saturday, I think it's just kind of an all-day event. And congratulations on another year of life, and happy birthday. Nice to see your family. That's all.
Thank you. And I still have lots of donuts to share if you need any. So just one thing real quickly, piggybacking on what Councilwoman Levitt was saying about the Boring Company. I know that's been on the Regional Transportation Commission, RTC's radar as well for quite a while, and it's an Elon Musk company, I think, that's coming in. RTC is a big leader in the nation, actually, in autonomous vehicle research and electric vehicles and things like that. And so we've actually developed quite a reputation throughout the nation. Tina Quigley, the director there, travels all over to give presentations and things like that. And so definitely something to watch to see what happens there. Thank you for coming tonight. We're starting in our budget cycle tomorrow morning bright and early. And meeting adjourned.
annual Rock Roll Stroll. We want to welcome you all here today. Take out the paper.
We can hear you. You need to come back a little bit. There you go.
Okay. I want to announce that we have Dale and Andy over there ready to sell burgers and dogs, and they are delicious. So we would encourage you to go over and have lunch. We also have Kathy and Sharon who are over selling baked goods. We have wonderful community outreach people that we hope you will participate and go visit. We have the 4-H Club doing a kids zone. We have it all today. And we have a beautiful day. If anyone has any pull with the wind, will you please address that? Anyway, we hope you have a great time. We have a wonderful day planned for you. We have our MC, Marcella, who has provided us with great entertainment. So welcome, and have a lovely day. And now I'm going to turn the mic over to our Mayor, Rod Woodbury.
Thank you. How you doing, everybody? All right. I see the cooks over there waving and screaming. Hey, it's a glorious day. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming to Boulder City, and thank you for supporting our senior center. What a great organization to come out and support. And, I did the Meals on Wheels the other day. Had a great time doing that. Fantastic service to our community to get out and get those meals to the seniors who can't come in. And the senior center provides great lunch every day of the week as well, and fantastic services all year round to our seniors. So we really support them. I hope you have a wonderful day here. Get out and see our businesses. Support all these good folks that are here today. And welcome. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, can you please welcome Mr. Joe Rowe as he does our Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning, everyone. Will everyone please stand? And all gentlemen, remove your hats, and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Interfaith Peace Choir, and they will be our first performers, so let's give them a round of applause and a great welcome.
Good morning. Our first song this morning is called Bird of Peace. It was written by my dear friend Larry Neff. And this is for Larry. Larry passed away just 2 weeks ago. And he's listening. So this is for you, Larry.